Alright people, welcome back to the FPL. So for Joey's Discord server, draft league basically, well more so that players are being drafted instead of Pokemon. So I'm on the Cheemsburgers and today we are going off against the Church of Iino Miko, is that what it was? Yeah, Church of Iino Miko. So we're going to start off with Curry versus Lugia and a couple of Randbats games. So, got here. Pretty sure that I turned off music for you guys, but it still hurts my ears. So, let's see. So, switch out Zekrom from the Como, of course. Save that for later. Burn this nice Avalugg here as they go for Avalanche. So, they never took any damage, so it's basically reduced by a quarter in total. Set up a nice nasty plot so that we can Leaf Storm this thing, right? That's what I would do. Yep, there's Leaf Storm. Completely obliterate this Avalugg as we get some nice leftovers recovery. Love to see it. Raikou can't really do too much. Hard switch out into Zekrom as they go for the Calm Mind, fair enough. As they go for Aura Sphere, do over half, but boy Zekrom is going to set up a nice Dragon Dance to outspeed him. Hit him with an Outrage. Doesn't quite take him out, unfortunately, as they do take us out. But it's almost dead to Life Orb. So Rapidash comes out, switch back out into Rotom mode to make him take some more Life Orb chip. Just to make sure that Rotom could live the hit and get a little bit of leftovers recovery. Love to see it. We're going to Volt Switch here. Now hard out into Rapidash on the Oblivion Wing. Yeah, that would probably do a decent chunk to Rotom. We're going to outspeed a Veltal here, because look at that, base 84 versus 69, and it's base 105 speed. Why can't I remember Xerneas and a Veltal speed off the top of my head? Anyways, Primarina is going to obliterate this Marowak here with a Sparkling Aria. As Como comes out, the Dynamax in the Randbats does absolutely nothing, as we're going to hit him with a Max Starfall. And all that's left is Galarian Zapdos, which this exchange was interesting, I think, because we go for the Max Starfall as they go for the Max Knuckle on the next turn, get the attack boost, and then we hit them with the Max Starfall, which they live because they're Dynamaxed. Now we're not even Dynamaxed anymore. There's the Max Airstream to take us out. So now they're Max Attack, Max Speed, and that's like, oh snap, this is looking kind of scary. But they go for the Throat Chop. Oh, now I realize why they went for a Throat Chop. Because if they went for Brave Bird, they would have died to recoil probably. So that makes sense because we still have two Pokemon in the back. You'll love to see it. So, let's see what happens in game 2. So lead off with Armaldo versus Exploud. Yep, there's the Surf, do a good chunk, but you know, get up some nice rocks for whatever they got. Never know they have something in the back. They're heavy duty boots on this Colossal because they didn't take any chip. Knock off those boots for next time as they stay asleep. Switch out into Goon, get the nice burn. Go hit him on top on the CC, right? Yep. Get a crit so it does a pretty good chunk. And here go Tangrowth on the spin, not much you can do about that. But it did force him to take Rocky Helmet as they go for Toxic. Knock off this thing's lefties so it doesn't get anything back, so as soon as it is, it's dead. They go Colossal, give us a little bit of HP back. Go out in a Sigilif on this thing as they bring Hitmontop back in to sack it off, of course. In comes Uxie, who is able to U-turn. Switch out into Virizion, kind of scary here. They make the double out in Exploud, not too bad, but Sigilif is going to do a good chunk. They switch back onto Uxie. They didn't want to risk being flinched, which is fair. As finally get a flinch. As another flinch happens, and it's like, yikes, man. 2 flinches in a row, it's not even Serene Grace. In comes Toad to take a whole bunch, and Sigilif goes down finally. So Tang is in, double out into this, predicting the Virizion, but they stayed in, so good play on their part. Go for the Brave Bird to get a little bit more chip on Colossal since it's asleep. Finally wakes up and goes for Stone Edge, but because of Obstagoon's excellent defense, it's able to take it. Switch out into Seismitoad. Almost dead, but you're still able to get a free hit off. So you take out Toad. Now it's 4 versus 3, but this one's almost dead. Virizion finally comes in, what is it, like base 108? Yep, just need to chip down this Colossal in order for Talonflame to win. Tangrowth comes back in because it's able to easily take a hit from this thing, but they go Exploud as we go for another hit. 2 Sleep Powders. That's crazy, man. Back out in the Talonflame as you get a free hit off on Colossal. Just keep chipping it. You need like 3 more hits to kill it, or maybe if it's a roll, then you can do it a little bit less. Keep getting some regen as Virizion comes in. All it has to do is just set up. As it, goes for the Stone Edge. Good play. But we have a Melmetal, my friends. The Melmetal is going to come through for us. And after that Dynamax Melmetal gets that defense boost, there's not much you can do against this thing. +2 defense versus a +2 Virizion. Let's see what happens. Does 25%. So that would have killed a normal Melmetal without any boost and without being Dynamaxed. But in this case, it's just too much for it. And this thing is asleep, but it's Dynamaxed. And a double Iron Bash isn't going to take it out because of the Dynamax. But it continues to be asleep, so that Sleep Powder still came through. And that's going to be that game. So, Curry defeated Lugia. Let's move on to Gen 4. So, 2 opponents that I played in last year were in FPL. Set up some nice spikes, free spikes there. Get a couple more spikes, go for the Meteor Mash, and they will be able to go for Bullet Punch on the next turn to take us out, of course. Now, Swampert comes in now. And this part, we were debating if whether or not we would live Explosion, but maybe we should have thought about the fact that I completely forgot, because I haven't played in DBP in so long, that Rotom's a Ghost type. So that was something we could have done. Go for EQ doesn't kill, but they actually do kill us with Explosion. I was like, dang. So they go Starmie as we go Jirachi. Ortho sends out the Rotom here to block the spin. Excellent play. But they go out into T-Tar, as I think we set up a sub here anticipating something like T-Tar. So here we could go for the Will-O-Wisp and burn this thing, but if it's Lum, it will be healed. We don't find out though as they go Starmie, who can have has Natural Cure obviously, but it does take more chip. I think here just go for a nice Thunderbolt as they switch out into Breloom, take some nice spikes, into Sand, take a nice Thunderbolt. So this thing is looking nice and chipped, and we still have up our sub as they're going to go for Seed Bomb, which takes out our sub, but they are so low at this point and we outspeed them that we'll easily be able to take out the Breloom here. It would have been a threat, but just in case, go for a sub first in case something happens. And in this case, you just got to kill this thing before it gets any more recovery. So Breloom is taken care of as Lucario comes back in, and it's going to go for a Crunch. Take us out. Take some Life Orb chip as Scarf Flygon comes in as they go Zapdos. And I think we U-turn here, yep. So there's no static to worry about at least, but Heatran comes in as I think they go Hard Starmie here, or what do they do? Yep, Hard Starmie as go for a nice sub. And they're going to kill our sub with Surf, but we actually go for a nice Boom here to just get rid of the Starmie altogether to keep the spikes up. That does lose us our Heatran, unfortunately, as they go T-Tar. And I can't believe they made this play. They stayed in. Either way, though, they would have gone Zapdos, and then we would have had to sack off Jirachi. They go for a Fire Blast. Excellent play there on their part. As we go for Iron Head, though, to take care of the T-Tar, at least get a little bit of recovery with leftovers. In comes this thing. It was a roll. It needed to be a high roll for us to kill this thing, but they're able to take us out with CC, and they die to Life Orb. As it's just the Flygon versus the Zapdos. And in this case, we're just going to hit him with Outrage. Yeah, just really needed those rocks, but Jirachi had the rocks, and there wasn't really an opportunity to set them up for the Zapdos. But 2 rock switch-ins, and it would have been dead to Outrage. But what can you do? Moving on to Gen 5 versus Hoth Ancho with our boy Jeff. So, let's see what we got here. So, Lando versus Lando, of course. I think it's just going to be HP Ice, right? We can move this to Fast. HP Ice does a little bit more from our side as they go T-Tar. Go Scizor. They'll back out into T-Tar. Excellent play predicting the Fire Blast. as we go for rocks, go for the pursuit, as they switch out to Keldeo to get a little bit of chip on that thing. And don't want to stay on this thing, obviously, but they anticipate that, so they double out into their T-Tar as we go Celebi. And I think we baton pass here, yep, as we go T-Tar on their crunch, eat it up. Get a defense drop, unfortunately, as they go Keldeo. Get some nice EQ chip on Keldeo, and I'm assuming back out into Celebi. Yep, and there's the secret sword. Looks like T-Tar comes back in as we go for recovery. So get the switch initiative, or get the, what am I trying to say? Momentum switch out into that. Sack off Lando, Scizor comes in there. They sack off their own Lando as they get in Heatran for free. Keep up that balloon. Switch out in Lottie here as it's going to go for a Magma Storm and do a heck of a lot with Sand and Magma Storm damage. They go for Protect, so at this point Magma Storm can kill us, but they still have that dang balloon. They switch out in Fortress, thinking that we go for Surf to get rid of the balloon, which is fair. Take even more chip as we switch out into Magnezone to trap this thing as they go for some spikes. So they protect up as we Sunny Day, and now we can take care of this thing with a nice HP Fire. That's pretty clean. Heatran comes out though with its balloon, double balloon. They do miss, so we keep our balloon for the moment as we go for Thunderbolt. They are still trapped, so they have no point but to go for Magma Storm in the Sun, which does knock us out, so we at least got rid of their balloon. And we'll be able to get rid of the Sun here as go for Protect as they go for Pursuit. They do burn the T-Tar here, so it's able to easily take a crunch, which is resisted, thinking that they go out into Lottie here on the EQ. So Hawthoncho is making some excellent plays here, man. They stay and go for Earth Power because they're faster and we're in range, so time to go for Celebi. And what are we going to do here, though? Nasty plot up. Nice. But can we live a Draco or something like that? They go for Dragon Pulse as they're not Draco Meteor. Baton pass out into our own Lottie, who is just barely able to get off one more hit on this Heatran to take care of it. Fire off a Dragon Pulse at least. So their Heatran's gone, as it's just the Celebi and the Scizor. Go for Surf here, as it's Scizor versus the world. So go for the Surf on this thing. Set up a nice roost, as you really need to be able to set up this SD. Once you set up this SD and get rid of this Keldeo though, you can win. So they set up a Combine, we set up an SD. Go for the Bullet Punch, almost take it out. Go for a Surf, which we live, and we're able to at least get some leftovers recovery because we're Steel type in the Sandstorm. Bullet Punch to take care of this thing. And all they have left is Lottie, who is going to take a heck of a lot from this Bullet Punch, man. I wasn't sure if that was going to kill, but it did. And T-Tar will easily go down to this second Bullet Punch here. And that's GG's for Jeff. So 2-1 now. Alright, here comes Gen 6. This game is absolutely crazy. I think I'm going to have to go fast, and then we'll go hyper fast, and then we'll just have to skip a bunch. You guys will see. So HP Ice on the Lando. U-turn out. As this thing is pressure. I can't remember when Static got released finally. Go for Bandit Outrage on the Magnezone. They are able to outspeed us because they're Scarf. We do take this thing out as we get the Confusion. They go Altaria, save the Kyurem for later. They go for Frustration on us. Does a heck of a lot, man. That Pixelate, man. And this is still Gen 6, so when did the nerf happen? Was that in Oras or was that in Gen 7? I feel like it was Gen 7. But I can't remember, honestly. I know the speed shift happened in Orast, where if they finally go for HP Fire, or HP Ice. Go for Defogged, so no more rocks as we calm Mind up, as they go Suicune here. So they go Chansey, who's going to take absolutely nothing from this. Go Kyurem, as they get up some rocks, so Kyurem is dead after this. This thing is a fairy type now, so you can't touch it, and unless you defog away those rocks, the Kyurem is dead as well. Not much you can do here though, because this thing is just gonna be unaware. So switch out into Starmie to be able to at least do something to this thing. But this Quagsire, man, the most annoying Pokemon, man. Even in the YCL, man, I'd be facing that thing and it's just so annoying. Really gotta have a grass type on every team for this thing. Keep going for recovery as they keep going for Seismic Toss, hoping for a para here As go Scizor on the Toxic, nice. They switch out, back out into Quagsire, of course, get some nice recovery as UU turn out. Get slightly lower roll than last time. Astral Cure on this thing, right? I think so, or is it Analytic? I don't know. I don't think we've seen it yet. Go for a Scald, fishing for a burn. As, yep, Natural Cure comes through, back out into Scizor as Roxar back up. Setup and SD not going to matter versus a thing, you're just trying to get it low enough. So it's about near half, but then it's going to, yep, recover back up. How unfortunate. Back out in Suicune, as I think we can put this on hyper fast at this point. They set up Calm Mind, in comes this thing. So get rid of the hazards, but now our Starmie is dead. Switch out an Altaria, nice play. Flash Cannon to get some chip on the Quagsire. As the Quagsire comes back in, down to half. This is looking decent. Back out into this, nice play. Bullet Punch. They go for Thunderbolt just in case they went for a fire move there or something to get some chip on it. Back out into this, back out into this. The continuous double switches as they go back out into this darn Quagsire, who's at the lowest we've seen it get so far. Back out into Chansey, and I think this is where we are just going to go for it because it's been 50 turns, and at this point, this is all you got to do. So let's keep an eye on that PP. So 17 and 13 for softball. Alright, we're at +4 versus thing. Gets the para, so now you can hope for a para. As they go into Quagsire, how much do we do this thing? 41% as they go for Haze. How unfortunate. Hopefully we can chip this thing down. Switch out now. Back out into Kirim, who dies, and back into Clef to set up once more for game. So if they want to get rid of our hazard, or if they want to get rid of our stuff, then they're going to switch out. So 20 seismic tosses down to 19. We are at 14 Moonblast. So the pressure from the Suicune is really coming through versus us, unfortunately. As here we are going to keep going for Moonblast. Doing a decent chunk to Chansey at least to softballs up. Get that fourth comma, or get that +4. Go for T-Wave to hopefully stop them from seismic tossing. And yeah, just keep going like this back and forth. So how much are we at? We are at 9 Moonblast, folks. Keep that in mind. Get a nice crit. Get them nice and low. Get the para, yes, as we finally take out the Chansey. But how many? We are at 6 Moonblast, and this thing is pressure. So the double pressure is really, unfortunately, going to come through for us. We do get a lucky crit. I don't know how much that mattered because we were +4. That brings us down to 4 Moonblast. In comes Suicune, who rests up. So we can only go for Moonblast twice, as there's 1 and 2. So now we are now out of Moonblast. So it basically comes down to the Quagsire. And what can you do versus this thing, man? All you can do, they get a burn, because of course they're eventually going to get a burn, as they are unaware, so anything that we boost up isn't going to affect this. It's only going to affect Altaria, but it's all about the PP at this point. So I think we can just keep skipping. Actually, I'm thinking I'm going to go to turn, I don't know, like where are we at 120? So at 120, it's just the Quagsire at this point, and they've still got so much PP. They have Haze, man, which is really coming through for them. How much is Clef at? Not much. Until you can struggle to death. Let's go to turn 150. So it's out of Toxics. Still has 20 Hazes, though, versus this is about to run out of Roost. Probably go for Roost here soon. Has 12 recovers left. Good grief, man. Compared to this. As it's getting pretty low here. Scizor finally dies as Clef comes in. As, let me see how much more. It's running out of Hazes, though. So we might be getting, I'm trying to remember how many turns this game is. We could at least probably go to turn 185. So at this point, we are completely out. Just use the last softball, looks like, versus one more Scald on their side. So it's the struggle war. Who's going to win it? Seems like 5% versus 7%. So because Quagsire has slightly higher attack than Clef, seems like that's what's going to do it. As there goes the struggle. It's not just that. It's also the fact that Clef is also taking more. It seems like from each struggle. So came down to a struggle war. How many turns is that? 191. Absolute insanity. This is the game we play though. On to Gen 7. So we got Rain versus Magirna, looks like. So Sudowoodo comes in, Magirna switches out. Go for Focus Blast and Connect. Does only half to this thing. How unfortunate. They get some Leech Seed action going on. Switch out into Pelipper, but you can Volt Switch on this thing at least. Let's see if they Volt Switch. Nope. Or they do Volt Switch, but out into Swampert, of course. Who's gonna set up? Yeah, I should have thought about that. Yep, set up as they go for, not even set up, I mean just Mega Evolve and then Ice Punch the incoming Dragonite, which is the only thing you can really take anything from me, or Shaman, which also takes a bunch of my Ice Punch. So this thing is going to do absolutely nothing. I'm going to put this on hyper fast at this point. Not much you can do yet. This is a losing battle. Just trying to set up a sub on this thing. Just trying to outlive that Rain though, at least. Get rid of some Rain turns. As Rain is finally gone, as they U-turn back out into this, immune to the Leech Seed. Go for Earth Power as the sub fades once again. They just got to get up that Rain though. But they're waiting for the most opportune moment. They don't want to waste any turns. So at this point, go Magirna. Miss the Focus Blast. That's unfortunate. They get into Mega Swampert as they double back out in Ferrothorn. As Fleur Cannon. And we get a lucky freeze. Would you look at that? Getting some more recovery though. Ferrothorn's perfectly fine just sitting in, letting Magirna go down. Sudowoodo comes in, does with a crit, does over half, but no Rock Head unfortunately. So we take all that the recoil as we get rid of the Ferrothorn, but at this point it's nearly over as Tapu Koko comes in. Even with a setup, it's still fast with the Tapu Koko, and that's GG's for Gen 7. Moving on then to BDSP OU, so versus Boston. Former head of the Bloom gang that I was a part of last year, but let's see what happens. So Magnezone versus this, they U-turn out of course into their Gliscor. Do we Flash Cannon? Oh wait, no, we just switched it in, so they knock off the Choice Specs as we at least lower it with Flash Cannon. I think we can put this on fast. Mamoswine comes in, and they go for knockoff. Knocking off all our items, man. How annoying. Scizor comes in, takes a bunch of my Sickle Spear. Not really. Alright, so Drapion comes in as they U-turn out into their own Gliscor. Actually, we don't have a Gliscor, just their Gliscor. As, I'm just used to saying their own because it's like almost everyone runs Gliscor. This Mamoswine is nearly dead. As there goes the Fake Out. Switch out into Scizor. Maybe set up an SD here. As it is trapped. Yep, U-turn out, that's a smart play. Fearing the incoming Magnezone. As they go Azu. Earthquake this thing. Drapion comes in as they go for the Play Rough. Does a heck of a lot. As they go Gliscor. Finally knock this thing off, but it doesn't matter because it's still going to be poisoned forever. Go for a Taunt on it though, as it goes for EQ. So Azu comes in. They don't really have a lot of switch-ins. As this takes 48%, so nothing can switch into Waterfall at this point as they go for Psychic continuously. Flash Cannon will take this thing out, thankfully. As at this point, not much you can do. Maybe set up with Silence, but other than that, not much you can hope for. Now that no switch-ins to Waterfall, they do go for EQ to get some chip on this thing, take care of the Gliscor. Go Magnezone here, as I think Magnezone might just clean up, honestly. As they go for Volt Switch, Specs is easily going to take out Scizor. From that point, Ambipom might just clean up here with the Fake Out. Heck of a lot, as it will outspeed. All it has to do is to switch out, switch back in. Scizor comes in, can easily Bullet Punch. As all that's left is the Azumarill, who's probably dead to this Bullet Punch as well. Not quite though, as it goes for Waterfall. But Ambipom believes to be able to come in and take care of it with the Fake Out. So that's GG's there. Alright. So Boston versus Stevio, and then we have me versus Young Bisharp here in Gen 8. Sword and Shield OU. So start off with Lando as they go Weavile. Thought they might because we were debating if we should lead off with our Weavile versus their Landos. We kind of have similar teams. Anyways, let me put this on fast. Switch out to Blitz Unicorno as they knock off our Choice Scarf, which is very unfortunate. We knew a knockoff was coming. We didn't really want to lose any items on anything as they go Bulu. So keep that in mind. Their switch is Bulu on Keldeo. So go for Hurricane, land, get some nice chip as we go into our own Lando. He goes for a Toxic on our Landorus, unfortunately. Go for some nice rocks to get some chip on things that come in. Bulu takes some chip, but is able to heal some back up with the terrain. They stay in Woodhammer, which easily takes us out. As didn't want to go Zapdos immediately because that was another thing to deal with it. And Kartana didn't want to take in too much damage or take him to Stone Edge. As Lando got up Rock, so it's really done its duty. As they stay in, or they switch out in Lando, so good play on their part. Didn't want to miss a Hurricane. They go Finny here, as we have our Weavile here. Go for Triple Axle. Only get 2 hits, thankfully, because it is Rocky Helmet. So in comes Kartana, take a Havoc of a lot from Moonblast, but anything would have really. As they go Slowking, set up an SD here on this thing, go for knockoff. It is Cobra Berry, so it lives, unfortunately, man. We do get the kill here, but because I had to make some changes to the team, unfortunately Showdown decided to reset the attack IVs on this thing, so it doesn't have 19 attack anymore, so its attack is higher than its speed, even though it's timid, no attack. So really working against us here. So they go for knockoff versus us as the attack raise, which doesn't matter at all. Go for Icy Wind on this thing here, predicting the switch as it takes them out. Not sure if crit mattered or not, but you know, it is what it is. So they go Kartana as we bring in our Zapdos. They go for knockoffs. Heavy Duty Boots are gone, unfortunately. Try to get a static, but don't get it as they go Lando. And we can go for Hurricane and miss. How unfortunate. Go for Defog here to get rid of these hazards, for at least the Zapdos since it got knocked off. Go for Hurricane, and are able, since its evasion is lowered, Hurricane's more likely to hit. Keep hitting those Hurricanes as they get rocks up on our side, unfortunately. So really kind of a lose-lose for us because we took so much from our Zapdos, all for rocks to still be up versus us. They go for Triple Axle versus us, do a heck of a lot, as another Triple Axle will indeed take us out. So from here, they go for Ice Shard. We are able to hit him with a Flamethrower at least to get rid of their Weavile as Kartana comes in, as we bring in Zapdos to hopefully get a Paralysis. Do not get it, however. So all that we can hope for now is that they will somehow choke. So we get rid of the Rocky Helmet at least, as we're predicting them to go back, or only play is if they switch out into this choke, then we knock off their Choice Scarf, and then Fire Will can clean up. But alas, it did not happen, and so this thing goes down. So in comes this, again hoping for the choke that they switch out, and we don't get it. So they stay in, and could have Leaf Bladed, but wouldn't have made much of a difference, as unless they were banded, but I doubt it. So that's GG's. So hopefully in the coming weeks we'll be able to up our game, but for now we got 2 wins versus the Church of Iino Miko, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.